Hi, everyone. It's Christine Kopr with Sotheby's Realty reporting to you from Uvita in Costa Rica. What are the market drivers right now? Well, a big one is consumer confidence. How are people out there feeling about their job security, about their finances, and are they able to afford a home? Everybody wants to own a home if they can. Consumer confidence was moderating. There was some fear there at the end of the fall. Potentially that's starting to moderate, get a little bit more positive, while unemployment has crept up a little bit in BC. Overall, if you're feeling good about your job and looking that you can see some of the interest rates, we might be at the top coming down. This could very much well be the time to be getting into the market before everybody does if interest rates start decreasing. So I think consumer confidence is potentially increasing, but it's not exuberant. I think that if you're talking to me about a month and a half ago, I think that there has been a slight shift and we're starting to feel like there is some more positivity coming forward for the spring. It is still an interesting market, whether you're a buyer or a seller, so please keep that in mind. Inflation and economic activity. Inflation has been slowing. It's getting where Bank of Canada wants to go, and it's why they've said that we could potentially start to see interest rate increases. But of course, that is 100% dependent if inflation stays where it needs to be. We do have some interesting global economic issues happening. Obviously, there's issues over industrial. There's also issues with shipping and attacks on shipping containers and having to reroute supplies, which then could create more logistics issues. And then, of course, increases in inflation. Everything has to stay in that band range for the BOC to keep interest rates flat. Some market forecasters say that we could see rates coming down as early as spring. I say if it is like woohoo, like you've scored the lottery, but I don't personally believe that's going to be the case. That's my bet. If anything, perhaps probably later this year, if in 2024. Interest rates, of course, we're just talking about how we could potentially be at peak rates. And of course, fixed rates, they went bananas. The bond market did, which controls fixed rates in October. That's eased off over 1%. We'll take a look at that. And of course, inventory is increasing, but we're still at historical levels. Wait till you see the comparisons going back to 2015. Here's a change in the CPI. So just some visuals. Yes, inflation is coming down. This is great. We got to get down to this 2% band range here. So we're still a little elevated, but headed in the right direction. Unemployment, as you can see, in terms of Canada, stayed flat at 5.8%. In BC, we've had unemployment increase just a smidge from 5.3 to 5.6. While we are not a big proponent of people losing their jobs, it's what the Bank of Canada wants to see. So we have less demand in the system, creating less inflation. Discount mortgage rates. So this is actually after the discounts. You can see where variables are sitting at today and how fixed have taken a real turn. Obviously, we're still higher than we were last spring, but they're headed in the right direction. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see where this goes. And if you are renewing, start 6 months in advance if you have an existing mortgage. If you're thinking about getting in the market, please start talking to your broker because there can be some real fluctuations that you could take advantage of coming up in the spring. Here's a look at that 5-year government bond. As you can see, from October till now, we've had a real steady decrease, and we're actually getting close to numbers we saw last spring when the market was actually very active and interest rates sometimes got up under the 5% rate, which would be very positive for our real estate market. The other big news that has happened, and it's to be determined how it's going to impact the market in the future, is Bill 44 was passed, and you can build up to 6 units on single family lots depending on their size and their location to a frequent transit stop. So the cities are going to have to update their bylaws by June. So every city with a population of over 5,000 people, they're not going to be able to prevent you from building multifamily. Of course, you can still purchase single family, but you're going to have the opportunity on lots over 3,000 square feet to build up to 4 units. Some of the details and some very important details are yet to be determined because cities are in charge of this part. The province didn't actually make this decision, but they put it onto the cities. Are those units going to have to be secured market rentals, or can they be stratified and sold off? And that is going to have a major impact on how single family lots potentially will be revalued in the future. That is something to keep in mind. Every city and is going to probably be different. We got to see how this plays out in June when all the cities and municipalities have to update their zoning bylaws and give us more details on how it's going to impact future development. And so here's just also some of the transit-oriented development areas that was also announced, that up to 20 stories within 200 meters of transit-oriented development areas. And of course, it changes depending on the type of hub, then, bus exchanges, and including West Coast Express as well. So if you want some more information about this, please reach out to me. And here's just a map to give you an idea of the areas that are going to be impacted over the next several decades as developers and the market conditions are favorable enough to help develop out this plan, because there are major factors that impact development. Just because you zone it doesn't necessarily mean the economics make sense. While our sales end up quite low, it's been a very strong year for the Vancouver housing market, considering that mortgage rates have been the highest that they've been in over a decade. While forecasters, and myself included, were thinking there was going to be downward pressure on prices, which we have experienced, the fact is that year over year to the end of 2022, we've had a 5% plus gain across all home prices for all product types, as you saw, for example, when we were taking a look at detached, west side versus east side, etc. So it's been an extraordinary year for the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver. I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this update, and I really look forward to connecting with all of you. If you would like to have a personal consultation or get more specific information for your particular circumstance, i.e. if you're thinking about selling, which this could end up being an excellent market in all things considered. Obviously, it's not an exuberant market, but I think it could be a fairly active spring market. Please reach out to me for a consultation. And if you're thinking of buying, now might be the time, especially if we have interest rates decrease in the upcoming year. This could be the time to secure a great property with the time to do your due diligence and not have to potentially get into a more of competitive marketplace. I'm Christine Kopr with Sotheby's Realty in Vancouver. I look forward to connecting with you in the future. And once again, I wish you all the best in 2024. Make sure you like and subscribe, and have a great day.